Hello, Chattanooga. Here's a quick look at today's top stories. First of all, Mayor Andy Berke wants to put 40 new police officers on city streets this year. Berke has unveiled his 2014 city budget, which will bolster the police force to its highest level in history, close to 500 officers. Police Chief Bobby Dodd says he plans to add the officers in areas where they've been shorthanded, such as Ooltewah, Gunbarrel Road and Hixson. Berke also wants the city to fund a federal prosecutor position to help curb violence, and the budget would give 2,700 city employees a 1.5% raise. Finally, Berke says the city will step up work with local developers to transform vacant lots into affordable housing. The shuttered Harriett Tubman housing complex may soon become a new industrial site. Andy Berke wants the city to buy the complex from the Chattanooga Housing Authority for $1 million. It would then cost about $2 million to bulldoze the site, but Berke's bid for the land would undercut existing offers from private developers who've been bidding since 2012, in some cases up to $4 million for the site. Still, opponents say the city needs to modernize the apartments already there instead of replacing them with industry. Part of balancing any city budget means that new services have to be matched by cuts. So with all of the spending increases in Chattanooga's 2014 budget, here's where the money won't be going. The city is cutting its aid to the Homeless Health Care Center by half and will end funding entirely for the Homeless Coalition. It's also removing all funding for the Alexian Brothers Senior Neighbors and the River City Company. Mayor Berke also proposes cutting all of the money allocated for drug and alcohol testing of city employees. And the budgets for cell phones, recreational supplies, and ammo will all see big cuts. But at least things around town will be looking good. The sidewalks and flowers will be nicer at the Tennessee River Park, which is getting a $25,000 bump. And the city's general landscaping fund will increase a whopping 9,500% to just under $200,000. A 25-year-old man arrested last month after allegedly attempting to run over a Chattanooga police officer will face a grand jury. Officer Nathan Rogers says LeBron Terrell Brown tried to run him over June 29th after a traffic stop. Rogers in turn fired his gun 3 times at Brown's car, striking him in the arm. The Times Free Press has obtained exclusive dash cam footage of the incident. Officer Rogers defended the use of deadly force, saying he felt his life was in danger. Brown turned around because the street was a dead end, and his attorney, Kevin Loper, says the video shows Brown drove into the shrubs to avoid hitting the officer. Still, prosecutors argue that a 4,000-pound car moving toward an officer on a narrow street is a deadly weapon. A boater on the Tennessee River was killed after striking a low-hanging power line near a TVA nuclear plant in North Alabama. Authorities say 65-year-old Anthony Sazozda died when the fishing boat he was in struck the power line that was hanging just a few feet above the water. The line reportedly runs to TVA's Browns Ferry nuclear plant. Police say TVA was working on the line just before the accident happened. FAA officials are investigating after a plane entered restricted airspace during President Obama's visit to Chattanooga. A no-fly zone was enacted over the city during the visit, but officials say a private plane entered the restricted airspace anyway. The incident happened as Air Force One was approaching around noon. We're told air traffic controllers tried to make contact with the pilot, but the pilot didn't respond. The private plane eventually landed at an airport in Carlton, Georgia. Finally, the Tennessee Vols are starting practice tomorrow, and Coach Butch Jones shared his thoughts at a news conference. Take a look.
So everyone's excited, but for me, I'm more interested in how this team is week 2, week 3, as we continue to progress throughout training camp. You know, it's easy to be excited now, but what happens when, you know, you go through the long days of training camp and every day seems the same and you're hitting each other. That's when your team is really born. That's where your toughness is born. That's really where your leadership is born. But when we step out on the football field for practice one, I'm very, very interested to see how this team has progressed since spring football. It's not a secret. Are we going to be the most talented team this year? No, we're not. We all understand that. But talent doesn't win championships. Teams win championships.
The Vols' first regular season game will be August 31st. And turning to weather, today will be partly sunny with a high near 88 degrees. The low tonight will be around 66. I'm Harrison Keeley. For more on these stories and updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook and visit timesfreepress.com.